Managing device development process. After the initial phase in developing electronic devices, the main tasks are determination of device functionalities, targeted customers and market, consideration of customer requirements, market and execution methods, etc. The following questions can arise: how will the device function, or what functions will it have, and later can develop questions on project management that is crucial for execution and achieving of the set time frames. Management also has to optimally distribute workload between employees and departments for achieving high quality of products and the fastest possible execution. The inevitable question here is how much will the development process cost, and how long will development take? Lately, project management has become an advanced and efficient research discipline. The importance of discipline is visible in a quick increase of manager associations, research journals, and new educational programs. Project definition. Project definition can be presented in a simplified way as quantitative part of the whole process where beginning and end are clearly determined, as well as expected results and outcomes. The attributes that are often related to project definition are: unique product or service, small-sized production, measuring instruments and values, use of resources, people, materials, equipment. Work is mostly complex, uncertain, and/or urgent. Approaches to project management. The effort that we put into designing is quantitative part of project work and reflects all attributes of the project structure. Project management varies among manufacturers, but company organizations have very similar structures and patterns. In the broader sense of the word, there is always an individual or a person who is responsible for running a business or project. We personally call this a project manager. The project manager determines a group of individuals called a project or development team. The development team within the company has access to various structures inside or outside the company. Synergy between the group and good communication and the way of designing leads to competitive and high-quality products. Elements of project management. The person who is designing a new device is responsible that the device meets the functional requirements and all other criteria. Project management includes three key elements. Planning. In the beginning, the project plan defines work that needs to be done, project time frame, budget, required ecological standards and description of the needed resources, people, equipment, and materials. Control. When the project starts, its progress is controlled depending on the set plan. The project manager has to routinely control the progress, budget, used resources, and how much work still needs to be finished according to the given plan. Management. Just like the designer can plan to optimize designing, so can the project manager create a plan that optimizes project execution. Different resources, especially people and equipment, can be moved between different tasks. Some tasks can be realized within an existing task, others can be done in advance. The project manager also has to determine which skills are needed for certain tasks. Management goal is a realized project within the as short time frame as possible with the lower possible costs. Reduction of costs does not mean reduction of quality or device standards. Project plan. The project plan describes how the project will be implemented. The project plan sets the price of development, the final price of the design, and what resources we will need and use. The project plan can be defined and presented in different forms, depending on its complexity and purpose. Nevertheless, almost every project plan includes the following steps. Determining tasks includes clear description of different tasks that need to be executed. The tasks have to be clearly defined and easy to understand. Schedule, dates and time frames have to be defined for each task. Resources and requirements, evaluation of personnel by experience, knowledge, and skills, used materials and needed equipment. Costs evaluation, the costs are evaluated depending on the used resources and equipment. It is also important to foresee a crisis budget in case some costs cannot be evaluated precisely or in case of unexpected circumstances. Project plan can be completely developed when device requirements are clearly defined and set, and until then a more downgraded plan needs to be in use that in the end matches to the final plan or even significantly deviates from it. During many iterations of requirements definition, we can see a journey on how to achieve the final goal and successfully finish the project more or less clearly through every repetition. Tasks determination. The first step to the determination of project plan is determination of tasks and work that needs to be finished during device development. Many information on task determination can be found in the block diagram of the new device. The device's block diagram shows the final version of functionality, where all requirements are specified. From this we can develop a project plan. For example, if we take more complex designs for which we need to prepare a more detailed overview of the work to be done, we can look at the following examples of tables. Network diagram. Work planning can be divided into two parts. The first presents use of network diagram and the second use of line diagram. Network diagram structure is used by different methods, such as CPM, critical path method, PERD, program evaluation and review technique. The purpose of network diagram is a graphical presentation of individual tasks. It is also used to determine independence of tasks and their priority. With unequivocal presentation of tasks, it is possible to optimize these tasks and increase the efficiency of the design process. No matter which diagram is selected for presentation of project development, it is important that the network diagram presents all tasks, use time, and duration of the project. The following attributes present the key elements of the network diagram. Precedence. Dependency between task beginning and ending is clearly visible in a well-designed network diagram. The tasks that can be done in parallel or sequentially need to be clearly presented in the network diagram. Critical path, a sequence of tasks that need to be executed and determined duration of the project are named critical path. This path is in the diagram presented with a thick line. Variable time, loose time. Variable time is calculated at the end of network diagram construction. It presents how much time we have left for a certain task without shortening the duration of the complete project. Column diagram. Timing diagram and Gantt diagram are types of column diagrams. Both methods present individual tasks as columns on the timeline axis. Column diagram has evolved from the network diagram. In a normal path of column diagram development, it follows the development of optimal network diagram. The advantage of this diagram is that it is easy to understand and transparent. The network diagram is used more as a tool for optimization and configuration than the column diagram that is more suitable for presentations of the project plan. Network and column diagrams are in management of larger projects supported by many computer programs which can be automatically optimized and continuously monitor project development. Schedule. Determination of schedule is the second part in the establishment of the project plan. First, individual tasks need to be divided. Determination and the extent of the tasks are key for the efficiency of the project plan and determination of the schedule. As previously mentioned, this process is iterative. The iterative process occurs in cycles where we always do a revision after the final plan version and evaluate the strategy efficiency. The main goal of the integration process is improvement of the current plan version. The schedule that marks start and end of the project, as well as chronology and duration of individual tasks, is a great indicator of device development process. In addition, each project group member can see how their tasks are connected to other members and which dates are set for task finalization. The schedule also determines the priority of tasks and serves as a tool for presentation of workflow to the management of the company or the buyer. Some common problems of the project plan and schedules, which need to be often revised, will be presented in the following points. The project plan contains too many tasks, therefore, the schedule is incomprehensible, difficult to follow and too complex. The plan contains tasks which cover the understanding of project workflow. The project tasks are disproportionate. Some tasks are precisely defined, others are too general. A common mistake is that the hardware tasks are precisely defined, and information on software are only brief. The schedule inaccurately defines tasks that are intended for a group or an individual group member. It is also not clear who is responsible for each task. In designing schedule and project plan, we need to be aware of two things. The first is that the project management has to be intended only for the project and not contrary. We know many stories where project management has gotten out of control. Often also happens that the costs increase enormously over the planned budget. The second thing is that we need to be careful as the project plan has no guarantee that it is correct. For example, if we have inaccurately evaluated the project time frames, it means that the column diagram is also inaccurate. Evaluation of human resources. In most projects, the personnel costs are the largest costs of the whole project. The evaluation of suitable employee profile for the project execution is the basis for a precise evaluation of the complete costs. The availability of personnel with specific skills and their number has a key effect on the determination of a schedule for certain tasks. When the human resources evaluation is set, we need to review the initial steps of project plan development to preserve the evaluation precision. For evaluation of human resources, we can use multiple methods. A common approach to larger project is to have an overview of all tasks and schedule and to assign a number of people to the tasks, so the project can be finished. Another approach, also often used in larger companies that work on several projects at once, is to find the employee that is currently free or has less workload. Then we try to determine how to organize the project plan. In smaller companies we often have a limited number of qualified employees and, therefore, we choose the halfway approach. This approach means that during or in the middle of the project we check the tasks that have not been done and depending on the employee workload inform them who will do the tasks. A very useful tool for determining human resources is an employee histogram. It is defined together with column diagram where the number of participants in a given period is clearly visible and also their operational time. The employee histogram is a useful tool for a project designer, for evaluation of human resources, task assignments, and schedule determination. In the image, we can also see employee distribution on certain days when the workload is the lowest at the beginning and at the end of the project. To a large extent, the increase of employees in the third weeks is unwanted. This could be the key condition to revise the tasks and determine a new schedule. From the histogram is visible use of human resources where it makes sense to adjust the project plan to allocate the employees proportionately. Experienced project task planners usually stick to the principle to maintain the employee workload at 80 to 90%. This means that with the selected human resources they can cover the unexpected problems, issues in development, sick leave, etc. Budget preparation. After assignment of human resources, it is easy to calculate the project costs. These are based on costs of personnel, which consist of precisely calculated hourly rate, used materials, and rented equipment, if needed. With budget preparation, the use of money is easily visible. It is also important that we review the partial use of money in weeks. On the given example, we can see that the highest money use was in week 3 when the most employees were hired. Also, in this case, we want to lower the work costs. We can optimize the tasks and replace the schedule. Optimization of tasks or even new planning of the project plan is required if the evaluated project costs exceed the level of available costs. Project management. When a project plan is set and finished, the next step follows, and this is project implementation. When the activity is redirected from task assignment and planning to real implementation, the leaders, main engineer, manager, activity also redirects to control and ongoing project implementation monitoring. In project management are present three basic functions: monitoring, reporting, and ongoing problem solving. All three functions are closely related. Project management requires that during project implementation all three functions are considered and continuously studied. Progress and project efficiency are evaluated according to the set plan. The project leader tries to answer these four questions while managing the project. Is the project efficiency guaranteed? Does design meet the set criteria? Are the resources used efficiently? Do we need more or fewer resources? Does project implementation follow the schedule? Do the costs correspond to the budget? Will the final price be the same as forecasted? Monitoring efficiency. Monitoring project efficiency requires evaluation if the project work follows the set requirements that are defined by requirements specification. Every designer is responsible for the task that he is doing according to the schedule. Efficiency management has to be set in a way that some maneuver space is available in case of unexpected problems. Despite possible problems, the project efficiency needs to be met. Efficiency monitoring is done through informal communication with group members who are responsible for individual tasks through revision and partial tests that come with the tasks. Budget state. Checking of budget status is done according to the given time intervals and has to give answers to the three following questions. Do the expenses correspond to the set plan? Are the expenses used where we predicted? Will the final project expenses correspond to the evaluated expenses? Often in budget status more specific data need to be given, such as how much we have used for personnel, materials, and equipment. Often the financial report is presented in the form of S-curve. This curve originates from the form that presents costs of a typical project. In the beginning, the costs increase slowly, over time when the project costs are the highest, and towards the end, the costs are decreasing. The S-curve presents the predicted use of resources during the project, current use, and forecasted use until the end of the project. From the graph, we can see if the current budget status is within limits or if we have exceeded the planned costs. The forecast determines what will be the final costs evaluation in relation to the previous and current cost status. For evaluating the budget status, we can use other methods, such as column diagram, tables, etc., which will not be presented in detail. Reports. After the set time intervals, reports of the current project status needs to be prepared. The time interval can vary depending on the type and project duration. Common reporting interval for shorter projects is a month, for lengthier projects 3 times per year or once per 6 months. The reports serve several functions and are managed by multiple people. It is important for group members who execute the tasks to gain insights into the complete project and influence the implementation. The report is also important for company management or the buyer because it enables overview over current execution and offers a consistent evaluation regarding achieving quality and use of budget. The report is important for accounting, human resources service, and marketing department. In the end, the report is important for the project leader to gain a clearer picture of project management and to determine the most critical activities. The report has to contain a few key points. The beginning is related to the summary of work and achievements. We also need to describe the possible replacements or changes of plan, new tasks, and personnel. Under the second point, problems that could happen or are currently happening in the project need to be described. It needs to be evaluated how much these problems are influencing the project quality or the quality of products. When the problems are solved, it is sensible to describe how we solved the problems and if the requirements for new resources have risen and if we have solved the existing structure that is defined by the project plan. The report continues with a description of further tasks. The report is finished with a short description of work in relation to the schedule and the evaluated current costs. Key points for the project report. Description of the finished work. Problems that can arise or are already existing. Work plan for the future until the new reporting period. Schedule, budget evaluation, and budget status. It is important to note that the final reports are different from other reports. In the final report, all project results need to be described and noted if all criteria were met as written in the technical specification. This means if the device meets all the environmental criteria presented in the beginning and how this corresponds to the test results. The key is to precisely present the project structure and its implementation. We also need a precise analysis of financial construction, especially if we exceed the predicted budget during the project. We need to specify the reasons for exceeding the financial limit.